that we stand there and refer to you. They are the best businesses that we vet for you to use, and that is word of mouth referral. That is the strongest form of marketing that you can possibly use. Now, why is referral marketing, why does it work that well? Well, because we live in a society today that is not so trusting anymore. Well, and this is a perfect segue to see why. After what Diane told you, we're not as trusting anymore when people say they will do something, or they, especially if they advertise a lot, because all that means is that they had the money to advertise. Do we trust everything that we hear that people say they're going to do? No. And why? Because every one of us in this room has fallen victim to either an unscrupulous contractor at one point, or maybe even just a terrible restaurant, that we would never, had we known how they treated their clientele or how they did their business practices or their customer service, we certainly never would have chosen them. But we didn't know any better. So when you think about the new homeowner, when the new homeowner comes in here, they're at a disadvantage. They don't know anybody. These people are coming here, if you know, obviously you're reading the headlines, these people are coming here from all over the country and all other countries as well. And they have no people to go to trust and ask these questions. Hence, that's why we come and give them some information about this. Okay, so, but what happens if they need somebody before we get to their house to talk to them? What do? They go on Google and they look up someone. Now, is the person that has the highest rankings on Google, are they the best at their job? Not necessarily. What does it mean? It means they had the most money to advertise with. Now, and that advertising, where do those advertising costs go? Well, obviously, that is going to be translated down to the consumer. In higher prices, someone has got to pay for all that advertising. So it's going to be translated down to the consumer for sure. So, unfortunately, that someone is going to be you unless you use referral marketing to learn about who you should do business with. Now, I hope all of you in this room try to do business local as much as possible, because small businesses are what built this country. Not the largest, multinational chains. It's small businesses that built this country. And when we keep small businesses strong, then we support each other. Okay? And in order to do that, I'm going to show you some ways that you can start being a referral source for others, which will help you as well. Okay. Large companies have an advantage, obviously, because they have huge branding budgets. When you say branding, immediately the largest one comes to anybody's mind would be Coca-Cola. They brand everything. They are everywhere, TV, radio, everywhere. They give away products constantly. Everything has the Coke logo on it. Can a small business operate like that? No, because that costs a ridiculous sum of money. Now, obviously, it's worked for them. Clearly, it has worked for them. But I'm saying that a small business can't do that. And so you say, well, then a small business is at a disadvantage. They cannot compete with that. That's not true. That's absolutely not true. What happens is you have to find a way to compete with someone like that. That is by micro-branding. There's 3 ways that you, as a small business, can compete with a large business by micro-branding. There are 3 easy steps, really. But they're all very important. One of them in particular is to identify your ideal client. And before, some of you might say, I've had this happen when I sit down and talk with people all day long. Everyone is my prospect. No, they're not. No, they're not, because the old saying is, if everyone is your prospect, then no one is your customer. See, because that doesn't leave anyone. You can't do that. So what you do is identify who your target market is or your ideal customer. That's the number 1 thing you do. And I'll give you an example about this. My husband is a vice president of sales and marketing for a food company in California, and they hired him it's a spice and seasoning company. They're bringing in a brand new line of products, which will hit the shelves by the 1st of next year. Okay, this is a very specialty line of products. Okay,
So they're going to be more money. They're going to be, the spices are in little round tins, and they're going to be about $8.50, $8.95 to $10.95. Those are definitely upscale. Is that going to be in every store? Is that for every store? No. Because your average person, I'm not trying to be rude, but that's just not for that. This is for a cook that is really looking for something different. These are blends that are unique, that are not out there now. So so he is zoned in on that, and this company wanted to attend all of these food shows. They had all of these massive food shows lined up, and he was like, guys, no, let's have a marketing meeting. This is what we're going to do. We're going to attend specialty shows. We're going to go for this market. That's because this is our market. And they said, well, everyone's got to see it. No, they don't, because they will not buy this. That's not how this works. So do not waste your money on that. You identify who your target market is, and you market only to them. Okay. Now, how do you do that? Well, you have to have a multi-touch marketing program. You can do this yourself. We're going to go over that in a minute. That is why I'm here today, to show you how to do this. And then lastly, of course, you have to follow up. And we're going to go over that as well. Because if you do follow up, then obviously you're going to be much more successful. Studies show that you're going to have to, the average sales call, you're going to have to follow up at least 5 times to make that sale. 80% of sales are made after the 5th follow-up. And yet, 44% of salespeople give up after the first follow-up. And they say, well, they never called me back. Well, persistence does pay off. So you have to do that. So anyway, the multi-touch marketing program is actually easy. And it's going to be, when you think about this is what I do every day, but you can do this for yourself. Okay? Number 1, you identify your client. You've already done that. Identify your target person. Okay? You market to them where they live. Okay? Number 2, you cross-market to them where they do business. Number 3, you network with them. Number 4, you have word-of-mouth referrals from them. And number 5, you have personal recommendations. Okay. Marketing to where they live is fine. Okay. That can be done in 3 ways. Yes, you can do the direct mail campaign, and you need to do some of that, but not widespread like a whole city or a whole, because that is not your market. You need to target who your market is only. Secondly, you can use a service like ours to meet that particular person. But a third way, and I just recently did this, and it's fun. You know, there's, in the fall and the holiday season, there's festivals everywhere. In your neighborhoods, at your churches, everywhere. Okay, all of those are marketing opportunities. We recently had a little chili cook-off in our neighborhood. They have it every year. And we were entering a chili this time. We didn't win, unfortunately, but we did enter. And I came up with the idea of calling it Good Neighbor Chili. And so we made up little goodie bags for 25 families, because I assumed that was as many as were coming. Well, I was wrong. We ran out of them. But anyways, we made these 25 bags filled with my clients' information. Why? Because in my neighborhood, that is a target market for almost every person in my book. See? So when they walked away from it, you can ask my son, they were thrilled to death to get this bag. No one else was doing it. Then when they opened the bag, they saw they had promotional items from a blind and window treatment person, from a flooring person, from an insurance person, from, whatever, it doesn't matter, but trying to meet them, and they would not have done that in any other way. So that's just a way you can do that. That's thinking outside the box. It didn't cost me anything. I already had that. It just took some time to put together. So you think about that. You could easily do that. Okay, cross-marketing is the one most people miss most often. Cross-marketing is so effective because when one of your clients is doing business with someone else, if they see that that person is doing business with you, that's going to make them tenfold want to do business with you. How do you do that? Well, obviously, you want to meet that person. I'm going to give you the best example that I know of, which is happening next week. I have a pediatrician that we refer to the new homeowners, obviously, in McKinney, and I'll give it McKinney as an example. She came to me about 3 months ago and said, I want to open this up to all of our partners in the book. They have a fun fest for children. Instead of it's kind of their version of trick-or-treating, where they call it trunk-or-treat, and they give away little candy and have bounce houses and stuff on the Friday before Halloween, and it's big. And they have their own parking lot. It's a big, big thing. She said, I want to open this up to anyone who would like to market to our families and to meet these people, because it would help us look better to them as well. Well, she had several takers. Obviously, the pediatric dentist, the daycare, the personal trainer, anybody, because number one, she offered to them for free. So on Friday, all of these companies will market to them. It's going to be much more fun for them. They're excited. The pediatrician's office is very excited. My partners are very excited. I mean, it's a win-win. This is cross-marketing at its finest, see, because you're sharing clients. And that way you're promoting each other. Okay? Now, networking groups, we all know about networking groups, and I hope you know that there's a wide range out there. You immediately think of, you immediately think of the Chambers of Commerce, which you do definitely need to be a member of the Chamber of Commerce. You think of, a lot of people think of B&I groups, okay? You may think of meetups. There's meetups on every corner, for heaven's sakes. Every day, every hour of the day, you can go to one probably. But then there's also private networking groups. And this can sometimes be the most effective. I want to give you an example of one that I'm a member of, and it, quite frankly, is the smartest thing I've done with my business. It has to do, and you're going to think this is odd, because it has to do, it's the Texas Legends. If you don't, Donnie Nelson owns the D-League affiliate of the Dallas Mavericks, and they have their practice facilities, everything is in Frisco at the Dr. Pepper Star Center. They have, if you become members with them, which means you're a season ticket holder, you're entitled to all of these benefits, and there are 3 networking opportunities plus all of these free activities every single month that they give you. The networking on Thursday morning, one time a month, brings at least 150 to 165 people. Some of them are CEOs. These are not little. I mean, I'm a little person, but they're not. These are a lot of big people that you wouldn't necessarily have access to any other way. And you're all there for a common goal. You're meeting each other, and you're networking, and you're learning about the charities that the Legends involved in. If you don't know about the Texas Legends, you need to find out more about them. All of their games support charities. They support 24. They have 24 home games. There are 24 charities. The money goes to charity every time. So it's a very unique opportunity with Don Nelson. But anyway, so that is an example of a private networking group. Does that cost money? You know it does. Yes, because you have to become a member. But on the other hand, when you look at the benefits of that membership, it's astronomical for me. So there's other things like this out in the Metroplex. There's women's clubs. That's another one that may be I know Richardson Women's Club is a big one, but there's several like that are out there that do charitable things, that you're meeting other people, and it's going to take some money, but at the same time, the benefits that you reap are tremendous. Okay? Now, but you can't just join, you have to be active. Okay? And by active, I mean attend and get involved. Because people do business with who? Who they know, like, and trust. If they don't know you, they may call you one time simply because of the internet and you had them, they were desperate. They had to find somebody. But generally speaking, they do business with you because they know, like, or trust you. Okay? So they won't know you, and they certainly don't know they like you until they get to know you. So be active in those organizations. That doesn't mean attend every single thing that they have, but be active. And identify people in those organizations that you want to get to know better. Either A, they are your target market, or B, they do business with your target market. Either way, set up a one-on-one with them. Everyone in this room probably knows what a one-on-one is. It's just a meeting to get to know the people better. Okay? When you do, that's going to benefit you tremendously. Now, that's number 3, network's number 3. Then, once you've begun to meet these people, and once you've begun doing business with them, once you're in these groups with them, you've cross-marketed, you've done all these things, you're going to start doing business with them. What do then? You ask for word-of-mouth referrals immediately. Satisfied customers they're very happy to do this for you. I mean, and it makes a big difference, okay? Because when someone hears that, that they had done business with you. Well, no, we only recommend so-and-so because he did this and this and this, and you know, he even did this for them. When they hear that, your credibility goes up tenfold. You can't buy that credibility. That's unpaid advertising at its finest. So, but you have to earn that. That's trust. You have to earn that. So, if for example, if someone does tell in front of a group, which can happen, because they're so happy with you that they tell the whole group about you, then everybody in town is going to want to do business with you. I saw this happen just recently, because you say that someone is on the fence with you, that you've made a proposal to them, but it's large, and they either don't have the money or they even told you in this particular case, it was the window treatment person that we do refer. Okay, I think about it. A new homeowner, obviously window treatments is something that they do need. Well, we do the luxury market, so generally speaking, they're going to want things that are very expensive. This particular person, a new homeowner, contacted my individual, and he went to visit her. The window treatments that she wanted were going to be $12,000. I mean, that's sizable. Yes. So she told him, and she had just moved in. I mean, within 2 weeks she just moved in. So she said to him, "Now look, you're one of only 3 companies that I'm contacting. So don't expect to hear from me today because I'm going to take all this and I'm going to look." I think she thought that would bother him. Actually, he just laughed about it because obviously when it's that pricey, you're going to want to think about it anyway, number one. Number two, he's been in business 18 years, so it's not like he hadn't heard this before. But anyway, he left her. He said, "Absolutely. Think about it, talk it over, blah, 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 blah." The very next day, she calls him again, and she says, "Charles, I'm ready to do business with you." And he says, "Well, I'm thankful," but he said, "Wait a minute. Just yesterday, you said that, you know," and she said, "I know, but yesterday afternoon, someone comes to my door, and they have this bag, and they came to welcome me." And he said, "Who?" And she says, "Oh," and she gets the bag. She says, "Oh, it's your number." And he started laughing because then he knew where this was going. So she said, "And when I first saw the bag, your card was sticking out of the pocket." And she said, "I stopped the lady right then and said, 'Wait a minute, do you know him?' And the lady said, it happened to be Diamond." She said, "Yes, I do know him. He's a trusted member of the chamber. He's been in business 18 years. He's done, you know, all of these things." And she said, "That's it. Thank you so much. You made up my mind." So she called him and he got the sale. Now, he didn't tell me this. He waited until the next chamber meeting and he stood up and told the entire chamber that's way. Now, of course, that's a very powerful word of mouth referral. So, but I'm saying that changed her mind right then because even though she had just moved here 2 weeks ago, he was credible, see, because someone referred her directly. So, now, in summation, you can, lastly, personal testimonials. That's the last thing on your list. Personal testimonials are obviously very strong too, and you can put them on your written material as well as your website. They should be on there. But I want to caution you about one thing here, and I have a negative story about this. Do not claim that you are voted number one in anything unless that is true and you have the designation to back that up. Okay, you can't go to hardly anybody's site. I mean, I don't have that on mine, but I'm telling you, a lot of people do. Number one, we voted number one. If you're voted best of in McKinney, best of Plano, best of, and you have that designation, that's fabulous. But if you're just best of in your own mind, don't put that on there. Don't put that on there, because let me tell you, that's going to come back to hurt you. I went to a very astute area, was delivering this bag. New homeowner from Houston, the Woodlands. She says to me, "Well, I needed you 2 weeks ago. I've already had a bad experience." I said, "I thought you'd already been here 3 weeks." She said, "I was, but I already needed a dermatologist immediately." So woke up with some rash or whatever. So I said, "Oh, I'm sorry. Did you find someone?" She said, "Yeah, that's where the bad experience came in." Okay, now what you keep in mind, I've lived in this area 16 years. So she says, I said, I'm so sorry. Who did you go to see? She says, "Dr. So-and-so." I said, "Who?" Thinking that she had mispronounced it. She says it again. I'm looking at her. She said, "You have to know him. He was voted number at this point. Because she says, let me go get his card. She goes, gets the card, comes back. It is the name, she says. I've never heard of this person. We've lived there 16 years. And I have, if you look at me on Facebook, I have a huge referral network. There's no way this person does that kind of business, because I would know this. Good or bad, I would know that. Trust me, even if it was bad, I know this. So I said to her, I'm really sorry. And the worst part of it is the person that actually is number one in McKinney voted that way 3 or 4 years is less than 2 miles from your house. Dejected, she says, can you refer some other people? Yes, I can. She said, because I told my husband after that experience that I guess we're going to have to drive back and forth to the Woodlands to go to the doctor. I said, ma'am, we have quite a lot of good doctors in the Collin County area. Don't kid you. I mean, obviously we do. And I said, I'm very sorry you had a bad experience, but we'll take care of it. This is what can happen. That's why we don't believe when we see that on the internet, do we? Because we know that it could be their wife, it could be their, you don't know who's voting for them. You don't know that. Well, in some cases, their wife might not vote for them. Right. That's good. Very good.
Or maybe nobody voted.
Well, in summation, why is referral marketing so effective? Because it's unpaid advertising, okay? From a trusted source. Even if they just met us, they trust what we're saying because we can back it up. If you ask me why any one of these people is in those books, I can tell you why. I can tell you at least 3 things about them, and you're going to want to do business with them because of that. So, that is referral marketing, okay? Now, in order to get referrals like that, learn to give them yourself. There's another avenue. Anytime you're in a group and you've had a wonderful experience with somebody like Charles, tell the whole world about it. Because then, well, of course it elevated him in my eyes, but it made me look tremendous. But the point is, it made everybody in that room feel good about Charles because he gave up his time to promote somebody else and tell him how something worked. When you do that, it will come back to you tenfold. The results are just astronomical. Then you set yourself up as the go-to person for your friends, family, and other people in the network. They trust you because you know the people, the right people to use, you know the right people to go to, etc. So it makes you look really good. And one last story, and that is how I know this. One of the people that we visit, because we visit these people every month, obviously, 230 a month. When I visited this couple, this is about almost 2 years ago now. Visited them at their door on Sunday afternoon. On Monday morning, my phone rang, and it was the lady, and she said, do you remember me? You just visited me yesterday. And I said, yes. And she said, I really need you, Sheila, because I woke up this morning with water dripping on my head. Well, obviously that can't be a good thing. And I said, she said, Ernie already turned off the water, and we called the insurance company. We're trying to figure out where the water's coming from, and now the insurance company told us we need a restoration company, and we said, okay, and who would that be? I said, you call my friends at Carpet Tech. You call them, and you tell them that I said it was an emergency, and you need them now. And you said, Sheila said this. Okay, she said, because we were crying, so we didn't know what to do, Sheila, and I looked at Ernie and said, my new friend Sheila can't help us. Well, I did. She called them, and they came out. Okay, the point of this story was, yes, they took care of it, and we've now become friends with Michelle and Ernie. She has called me no less than 8 times after that for other things. Ernie's mother was in the hospital. She needed flowers. She needed this. She needed this. Who do I use for flooring? Who do I need, Sheila, we need this. Who do I do? She, over and over and over. Well, Michelle and Ernie have now formed a real estate investment company of their own. They're now using all of the people that I have referred to them, and they are now set up their own referral source. See, what goes around comes around. That's why I'm telling you, this works in ways that you cannot imagine until you start doing it for yourself. This is something I have learned with this job, and it's been a fabulous experience because my friends call me when they need anything now. It sometimes drives my husband crazy, and if I'm at a restaurant and there's strangers all around me and I overhear someone talking about needing something, I can just easily say, excuse me, I couldn't help but overhear this, and pop in and give them a card of somebody that I trust. So you never know. Now, lastly, what do you do when you've got these meetings set up? What do you do when you start doing business with people? What do you do when you have these one-on-ones? You follow up with them by how? You send them a personal thank you note. That, in a nutshell, is the CEO's recipe to success. I do not mean an email. I mean a personal, handwritten thank you note. If you do this, this is going to elevate you in their eyes tremendously. Okay? Did you know that Mark Zuckerberg, the CEO of Facebook, last year set out a goal to write a personal thank you note every day? Why? Because he wanted to show people it was how much he cared, how much he appreciated. He wanted to not set himself up as this big, CEO. He wanted to show people he actually cared. And the CEO of Campbell Soup, he was CEO for 10 years, Douglas Conant. He wrote more than 30,000 during his 10 years. Why? Because he knew the value of the personal connection. It sets you up above anybody else because most people don't do that. And everybody loves getting something handwritten in the mail. On your sheet, I did put the tagline or the website for the company that I use to do mine is Fix and Go. It's very easy, inexpensive, and they mail them for you. So, but you can do that. It's, $1 or less is how much the card costs you plus a stamp, and they mail it for you. So with a few clicks, you can do it from your iPhone. But that's who I use, and it helps me out because people thank you for that card. When you get to see them again, they'll hold that card up and say, "Look what Sheila's done." Okay, so if you want to be one of those people, do that. These are the recipes that I know for referral marketing, how it works, why it works, and I know it will work for you just like it does for me. Now, what questions can I answer? That's a lot of information. Well, I've either bored them to death or something, so.
You're very thorough.
Oh,
Very thorough.
well, this is something I do know a little bit about. So I was thrilled to death when Ron asked me to do this because obviously this is you're a fabulous group of people. What you do for the community is wonderful. So I love giving back to the community anyway, and to help people that help others that's where my heart is. So, and that's where he and I connected. But anyway, oh, you do have a question. Good, a question.
Well, I have a question about a comment.
Okay.
I use something very similar in my business. That one thing I found out that when someone is referred to me, I ask them who referred you.
Yes.
So I can write them a thank you note.
Absolutely.
And they know that I appreciate the referral.
Absolutely.
That's money in the bank.
Absolutely. And it's the right thing to do. On top of that, all of this is the right thing to do. So if none of this, what I've told you is rocket science. It's something that's easy that any of you could do. It just takes a little time to get it started. And then it becomes second nature to you. So, but thank you for that, because that's exactly right.
Yes.
Anybody else?